What's going on, everybody? It's Pelfrey again, and you know how I can't leave anything alone. So minus all the mess that we have on the island here, what we have is a piece of 8020 from 8020.net. So this span right here is 48 inches, and then we got a span here that comes down, and then two Kessil 90-degree adapters. So what I'm going to attempt to do is use this as a light mount versus the 90-degree mounts. I'm just wanting something different. You know, I can't leave anything alone. So this is, like I said, a 48-inch section, and I'm going to use these two brackets to screw into a piece of wood that I'm going to mount behind the tank. I didn't want to get a piece longer than 48 inches because anything over 48 inches, the shipping goes up quite a bit more. This piece is not finished. However, this piece is, and you can buy end caps for it. I just chose not to. But it's also worth noting that this piece that'll be on the front is not a T-slot profile on the front of it. It's just a smooth finish. So I got the 90s on there. Not pretty, zip tied there. If you remember that 20-gallon tank that I had at one point, I used the 8020 stand on it for the Kessil lights. I'm going to try to do something similar. This will give me, I think, some better options, and I'll be able to move them around a little bit more. So stay tuned. So currently one of the mounts is mounted there off of the Kessil goosenecks, or the A-series mounts, and I do have the extensions for them. You know, running the wires through the A-series mounts and then the extensions is kind of a pain. Now, once they're ran, you know, you don't have to worry about it, but like I said, I can't leave anything alone. So the idea is I'm going to have a piece of wood coming down here, and you can see that the Red Sea Reefer does have an opening there, so I've painted the piece of wood white at the top. Not like it's going to matter. The only people who are going to see this are me and you. Nobody's going to be squatting down here and looking at it. It's no big deal. Matter of fact, you can see a piece there, and that's because I have the left Kessil A-series mount and extension screwed into it. So for reference here, this is the tank with the A-series mounts. You can see that they're not mounted to the tank at all. They are mounted. This one back here is mounted to the stand. This one right here is mounted to this piece of board right here, which I'm going to use something similar for the 8020. But wanted to give a reference point. This is right in front of the tank, the A-series mount. So instead of having the two bars coming up, there'll be one coming up right through the middle there. So probably a little bit noisy out here. It's a little windy, but you can see that I have 4 holes drilled for the mounts on the 8020, and that I've just painted the top of it white. Like I said, nobody's going to see it. I'm going to give it some cure time. Shouldn't take very long. It's pretty windy, pretty hot, and pretty humid. So we'll give it some cure time and we'll get mounted up. Made some progress on the new light mount. You can see here I have some bolts and some nuts, and what I did is I took a hacksaw and cut the bolts down quite a bit. You can see this is the part that I painted white, and if we flip it over carefully, since I'm doing this in the house while the wife is gone, the 8020 brackets are screwed right into the wood. So whenever you stand this up, I have to stand it up in the corner there. That's what it looks like if I can back up far enough. So I did this for a couple reasons. I mounted it to the piece of wood there so that I can pull it out if I need to. So, you know, I don't want to do anything that's permanent. So it's time to go over, get the Kessils off the tank, throw them on here. So the 8020 stand is in place. Need to work on bracing it. It is a complete mess behind the cabinet, but it's not on the glass. I need to get it centered just a little bit better. That's the overall. And these, the 90s, I can move very, very easily. So that's not a problem of mine. I need to get the lights on there. This is the section that I painted, and that is where the 80/20 is bolted. So all in all, forward progress, pretty happy with it. This is the initial install. So I need to clean up the wiring. What I'm going to do is just tie it up on the 80/20. The black 80/20 for a reason. By the time I tie it up there, it should not be noticeable. And I definitely need to space the lights out a little bit more, but pretty satisfied with it. I like the one bar coming up the middle versus the two on the tank. So let me clean up some wiring, do some spacing, and catch back up. So here we are, folks. This is pretty much, it's hard for me to back up because I'm about to fall over on a chair. This is pretty much the final product. So I did make a few changes. You can see even at this point, it's hard to see any of the ties, but it's pretty hard to hide these wires because the Kessil lights have this connector right here. But what I ended up doing was screwing the 90 directly into the, I know it's really hard to see, turn on my flashlight. So I screwed the 90 directly into the 80/20, used a washer, and then I used the bracket that I originally had the light on to hold the cables up. And then the cables are held there, and I tried to get them as much in the track as I possibly could. They go back and then run straight down. So from a aesthetic standpoint, you can't hardly see any of these cables here. So that turned out pretty well, I think. So the light mount has been up for about 24 hours now, and a couple things that I want to comment on that I've noticed over the last day is that I love how this isn't touching the rim of the tank at all. For some reason, I get some salt creep on the top of the rim and even on the back of the glass. I don't bubble scrub a lot, and whenever I do, they're very, very tiny bubbles, but still I get salt creep back here. And having this off of the glass makes it very easy to clean behind the glass, so I'm very, very thankful for that. So far, the spacing of the lights seems to work out great, and I really like what's going on with it. I'm very happy with the overall product. I don't think I could ask for anything better. So basically, I think I've described this, but this is, I think, 18 inches. I think this piece is 10 inches, and they're all Series 10 tubing and fittings, and then this angle fitting right here, fastener is what they call it, is pretty much overkill for this particular setup, just because these lights don't weigh anything. And you know, whenever I had this off of the tank, I pushed on this pretty hard. It's not going anywhere. It can definitely hold a lot more weight. And as far as the cable management, you know, that's about as good as it's going to get. I know I mentioned this yesterday, but you can see the zip ties, and I can see it where I'm at, but nobody's going to pay attention to it. But that's about as good as it gets with the cable management. And the other good thing is the fact that I have the 90-degree adapter screwed in to the 80/20, which it's very easy to adjust. But to pull the lights off, all I got to do is unplug the cables that are going to the apex and unplug this cable here, and then I can just unscrew the light from the 90-degree mount and not even mess with the positioning. And as far as the stability of the light stand, again, very satisfied with it. So all in all, I kind of had this plan before I bought the A-series mounts, but went ahead and got the A-series mounts because I didn't want to spend any time building anything. I didn't really want to plan it out or whatever. So it took me about 3 weeks to get The 8020, by the time I ordered it, the lead time on it is a little longer, and that's another reason why I went with the 48-inch span. And I could move it up if I needed to, but I don't need to. I'm not getting any light spill. The light is definitely hitting the screen top, and I mean, I had the ceiling spill previously, but that's not due to the stand or anything like that. It's just the light's reflecting off of the water. But wanted to give some thoughts here that I've kind of dealt with for the last day. I've been working on the tank quite a bit this weekend. I got a lot done to it as far as cleaning and whatnot. So I wanted to touch base on the fact that I can clean back behind the stand, and if I needed to, I could move it back. It's very easy to move. So if you have any questions about the 8020, I got it from 8020.net, but if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section below. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.